I'd like to begin by congratulating every one of you for getting through the Jessup competition. I know how much work goes into this, and I'm proud of you, especially for what you've achieved in such a difficult year. Now, as global partner of the Jessup, we're always thinking of ways to celebrate and promote the competition and the students who participate. And with this in mind, we are establishing an award to honor a Jessup alumni each year who has had an impact on the legal profession and the world. I've always believed in the Jessup dream, that from the community of alumni it creates, there will emerge the next generation of world leaders. And to quote the Jessup motto, they will look upon each other differently because they met here first as friends. Our hope is that this award will remind you just how distinguished the members of this alumni community are and inspire you to achieve great things. For this award, we look for a visionary leader with a commitment to international cooperation, the rule of law, and the legal profession. And so in a year where we relied on technology to hold the largest, most inclusive, and most connected Jessup in history, I'm delighted to announce that the first recipient of this award is Brad Smith, the president of Microsoft. Brad participated in the Jessup competition in 1984 as a law student at Columbia Law School. He also studied international law and economics at the Graduate Institute of International Studies in Geneva. As Microsoft's longest-serving executive, including as general counsel, Brad has dedicated his career to working for a company that has changed the world. He's advocated wisely for Microsoft on the global stage, and in the process, he has helped forge policy in some of the most dynamic areas of law, including antitrust, privacy, and cybersecurity. And he's also a visionary philanthropist who has harnessed the uniquely powerful resources of Microsoft to help make the world a better place. And he's encouraged other technology leaders to do the same. In his recent book, Tools and Weapons, which I recommend to you, Brad wrote something very powerful, a core belief, he described it. He said, "When your technology changes the world, you bear a responsibility to help address the world you have helped create." This is the ethos of a compassionate person, and I hope that you too will bring that compassion to the world as you change it. Brad has helped Microsoft live up to this responsibility, and under his leadership, Microsoft has supported the work of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, helped to bring broadband access and technology jobs to rural areas of the United States, and led many other initiatives. On top of all these great things, I can tell you that Brad is also a wonderful person, charming, gracious, and thoughtful. And so we are deeply honored to present this inaugural Whiting Case Distinguished Jessup Alumni Award to Brad Smith, and now we're pleased to hear from Brad himself.
Well, thank you, Hugh, and thank you for the opportunity to be part of this, to benefit from this, frankly, just to be reminded of how important the Jessup competition was in my life and the impact it has had on my career. It's amazing when I look at yet another year of the Jessup competition, when I think about what it has meant to have 1,600 matches, 1,000 volunteer judges, 4,000 people participate as advocates or coaches. That in itself is extraordinary. But then I think back to what this event meant for me in my career. I participated when I was a third-year student at Columbia Law School. It was in the fall of 1984 that I first got involved. I got involved because of my interest in international law, and I'm sure that's like a lot of people who are watching this. And one of the things that this did for me was provide an opportunity to deepen my understanding, to roll up my sleeves and not just read about, but write about and argue about important issues in international law. But as it turned out, in some ways by coincidence, happy coincidence, the Jessup Moot Court competition also brought me for the first time in contact with a computer, something that obviously has impacted my entire career. My wife and I had gotten married a year earlier. She was a third-year law student at Columbia as well. And I persuaded her that we would go out and buy this newfangled personal computer, in part because I wanted to use it for the Jessup Moot Court competition. I did, and we did for our team. In fact, that's how our 2 briefs were written. And I still remember the happy experiences that we had as a team, putting together our thinking, putting together our briefs, going up to Cornell Law School in the middle of winter and marching through the snow into the building where we argued our cases before those volunteer judges. It's the kind of experience that I think so many of us not just enjoy and learn from, but take with us literally the rest of our lives. For me, one of the happiest aspects of the Jessup competition was not just the international legal issues and exposure. It wasn't just for me, this connection with a computer, but it was the opportunity to be teammates in a close-knit small team, to work with people I've stayed in touch with ever since, and to meet people from other law schools, and because it's an international competition, interact with people from other countries. In so many ways, I'm really so pleased that I had that chance now, what feels like a long, long time ago. And when I think about the role that the Jessup competition played then, I think it's even more important that it play this role today. Because you all know so well, we live in a world that feels smaller than it was when I was a law student, that has made international issues part of every legal discipline, that really requires that people understand better what is happening in other countries, what laws are being created in other jurisdictions, and perhaps most importantly, how people from other cultures might be thinking differently even when they're analyzing the very same problem. So I think now more than ever, the Jessup Moot Court competition plays a critical role for the future, for law schools, for law students, and for international law. So thank you for reminding me of what it did for me. Thank you for continuing to do the work, especially those of you who are volunteering, because I know you're creating similar opportunities for brighter futures for so many people from around the world. Thank you very much.